Let's say you write a smash hit with the help of AI. Can you patent that? And then what about the money? John Rizvi is the patent professor on the live line with us this morning. John, thanks for doing this today.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure. Thank you.
There are like a million things that we haven't figured out that AI can help us with. We've had colleagues help write commercials with AI. People are painting paintings. So how do we figure out, and the U.S. government has weighed in on this, what we can patent and what we can't?
Yeah, so unfortunately, the government's clarification has not been that helpful. So President Biden issued an executive order asking the Patent Office for guidance on when a human being can be seen as an inventor on a new idea. And the guidance is that the contribution needs to be significant. And there's no definition of what significant is. And I think you nailed it when you said AI is being used to help inventors and authors create things, because under the Constitution, intellectual property can only be owned by a human. And there's been case law where, in fact, even a monkey's taken a bunch of selfies, and it's known as the monkey selfie case, informally, and the monkey's found not to be entitled. There's no intellectual property protection because it's not a human. Now, when it comes to robots and machines, as far back as the 1800s, the Supreme Court had to decide whether a photographer is the owner of a photograph, being that a camera was used, and the ruling was that the camera is just a tool assisting the photographer, and the creativity is still coming from the photographer. The problem is that the tools for authors and inventors are getting so sophisticated now that the human contribution is becoming less and less as more of the final product is done almost completely by a computer or machine. And that's really what the guidance we need is how much of a contribution is enough. The Patent Office has come back and said it needs to be significant, and now we're back to square one. What is a significant contribution?
And, John, I got a two-part question with that. One, do you think your best guess will be it'll be some type of specific percentage, like maybe it's over 50% or it's got to be 75% when it comes to that question with the human aspect of it? And then the second thing is, how quickly will this, because you know how the government is, right? How quickly will this turn around? Because I'm sure there's a lot of cases that are going to be coming up, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I have a 0% hope that there's going to be any percentage given. And all patent attorneys are engineers. The engineer in me would love if there could be a way to quantify 50% or 70% new, but that's never been the case. It's always been a kind of a qualitative analysis, looking at the final product and seeing what the contribution is. I think it's going to come down to how much editing or revision is required after the final product is received. So if you use AI to generate a book or a storyline, but then you go in and you make changes to that and you use it as raw material or a draft, and you enter human contribution, that's different than if you enter a prompt and then what you get back is used 100% as you receive it. So the post-editing is going to be a huge factor in whether an AI-generated invention or piece of art is seen to be created by a human author for purposes of intellectual property protection.
I guess my last question is, how do they know? Right? I mean, if you used AI to help create a book,
right,
and then you turn it in and say you did it, how do they know it's not AI? Do they do a search?
So the problem with basically any cheating technology of any sort, the more sophisticated it gets, the more sophisticated the detection software becomes. So there's already software that purports to be able to tell if a piece of writing is AI generated, and it would give you a percentage likelihood that it's AI generated. Now, are there ways to trick that detection software? I'm sure there is, and it's a constant race between those that are trying to circumvent the technology and the least detecting AI, and those are trying to come up with ways to trick those detectors.
Fascinating. John Rizvi is the patent professor and adjunct professor of patent law. A pleasure as always. Thanks for your time today.